Welcome to Hair Metal Chaos, live with the Guru and Rachelle. My name is Anthony, but they call me the Guru. We'll get Stevie's old ass here in a second. Just kidding, Stevie. But thank you to everyone who keeps tuning in. Last week was awesome. We were joined by none other than the cherry pie girl herself, Bobby Brown. Huge shout out to her for coming on. And tonight, yes, there is a big announcement that we'll be making. And of course, we'll be talking the latest hair metal news as well as taking your questions. So sit back, relax, grab a beverage if that's your thing. Because remember, you come for the hair metal, but you stay for the chaos. And the chaos begins right after this. And it's going to fuck up again. Let's do that again. Let's try that one more time.
Metal Chaos with the Guru and Rachelle.
Get me, and let's get Stevie, and let's make us the right size. Look at all that technology stuff is such a pain in the ass. Stevie, welcome back for another week. How's it going, man?
Anthony, good to see you. I'm here. You're here. It's another Tuesday in Chatsworth, California, and simultaneously, it's also Tuesday in Fargo, North Dakota.
And $20 says you've never even touched foot in North Dakota, have you?
You know what? I don't think I have, because I know I've toured and played in over 40 states, or played in like 40. I think it's 43 states.
Right.
There's a handful I have not been to, and North Dakota is one of them. I think I might have skimmed through South Dakota, I guess, as I was leaving Minnesota, going towards like Iowa or Colorado or something like that. But never been to. Oddly, I've never been to Oregon. We never played Portland or Seattle. Those are two places we never
really
played. Yeah.
Wow.
Or Alaska, or Idaho, or Montana.
There was a club in Minneapolis called the Mirage that
I played there.
And you guys played there in a lot of glam bands, and I think I remember hearing about that, but I was still like, fuck, I couldn't drive 4 hours for a concert, and I don't know what was going on, but I remember hearing about you guys playing there. So, there are already 148 people in here right now. So everybody, welcome to the show.
Wow, really?
Yes,
crazy.
Yes. And it probably has something to do with the big announcement that will be coming up. That will be happening. It's by 7:30 my time, Central Time, 5:30 Stevie's time, and what is that? 6:30 Eastern. What the fuck is Eastern time? 8:30 Eastern time. There's always somebody who's like, dude, you only say Pacific and Central. What about Eastern? I'm like, well, can't you just figure it out?
Just add another hour.
Just add an hour. But I guess and maybe we should shout out Mountain Time too. Anyway, 7:30 Central Time. We do have what we think is a pretty epic announcement. So we'll get to that. We're gonna get started.
That it is.
We're gonna get started talking about some of the things going on in hair metal news, some of the things going on in Metal Sludge, some of the things happening on the Hair Metal Guru channel. And we are obviously every week we try to address as many questions as we can. No, you do not need to pay to have your question answered. We obviously will take a super chat will get your question answered because those people are contributing and we really appreciate it. But no, you don't have to. We're going to do our best to get to as many questions as possible. But I'm going to say this. Last week, I got a message that somebody said, hey, man, I sent you a super chat. You never answered my question. So for that, I really do apologize. If that ever happens, feel free to email me. Anthony.a.bryant@hotmail.com. In fact, anybody can email me there and let me know, and I will get to it the next week. Or just message me on social media, and I'll say, hey, Ross the boss had a question, did a super chat, and I didn't get to it because look, I'm not always the sharpest tool in the shed, and there's a lot of stuff happening during one of these lives between trying to listen to Stevie, look at comments, answer things. So anyway, we do always try to get to as many comments as we can, and especially these super chats, because we really do appreciate anyone who contributes to allowing us to do this. Stevie, I did want to really quick recap last week that Bobby Brown coming on when we were talking the girls of rock. Holy shit, that was
Right.
epic.
Yeah, and
You
just to
must,
follow up on what you said, the first show we had, there was almost 1900
yeah,
comments in the chat, right? And then the last few weeks, it's averaged around 1,000 or maybe a
yep,
little more. And
yep,
just doing the quick math on that, that's like every minute there's 8 comments that come up. So it's literally like every 7, 8 seconds. And so
yep.
sometimes they're just click, 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 click. And if we get in a little dialogue, that takes a minute. Or like when Bobby was on for maybe 15 minutes. Obviously, Wakanda sidetracked at that point. And I saw the guy's comment. I think he left it on the YouTube link. And dude, hey, sorry for dropping the ball on that. It is what it is. It's like a meet and greet when there's all kinds of people standing in line and not everybody gets the same amount of time or attention. We're not ignoring you. So
Totally.
thank you so much, and there's just a lot to roll with there. So
Dennis Churchill Drees from Tattoo Rodeo,
what's
and
up,
from
Dennis?
Dennis Churchill Drees, who, dude, I kid you not, Patrick and I had Dennis on to talk about his solo album, Crazy Is This Life. What a freaking melodic, I hate, but pop rock, AOR, amazing album. Everyone should go check that out. Dennis, awesome to have you here. And I also want to, there is a pretty good question already and a super chat. Thank you, Keith Ryan Cartwright. Awesome. But I am keeping up with the Ricky Rocket memoirs stuff. So Keith says, earlier today, Ricky Rocket posted a link to pre-order his memoir. What do you think of the title, Ghost Notes, and the cover art? What happened to the Ricky who leaned into glam, glitter for your soul? Well, number one, I'm excited for the book because there's never been a Poison book. I'm shocked that Brett hasn't done one, but I'm hoping. I mean, it's called Ghost Notes, but it does say below Ghost Notes, my life in Poison. So I'm hoping we get the deepest dive into Poison. I was shocked that you don't see a big Poison logo on the book. And if you see the cover, it's Ricky with his beard. I thought the cover would be a total glammed out picture of Ricky that would maybe like, holy shit, that is about Poison. So anyway, it's his book, but I do admit that I kind of thought it would be a different cover. Stevie, have you seen the cover of Ricky's Ghost Notes book?
I haven't seen it. And full disclosure, Keith Ryan Cartwright is my cousin.
No shit.
Yeah, Keith's my cousin. So
Okay.
he's like my brother. He's like my little
Awesome.
brother. So
Awesome.
but as a matter of fact, Keith and I talked about this at one point, and I honestly thought, I think this is a fail by Ricky, calling
Yeah.
it Ghost Notes and not
Yeah.
having, I mean, again, it's like, if this was through a major publisher and there was an advance involved, I'm guessing it's self-published or it's a very small company. If there was a real publisher involved and there was an advance, they're like, dude, you're the drummer from Poison. We're going to give you some money to print this. People that want to buy this want to and you probably can't use the logo, but
Here it is.
yeah. So, there should be some lime green in there somewhere.
Yes.
And that's just my take. But to each his own. I mean, if Ricky wants to release his book and talk about model cars and cameras and chasing ghosts, then I get it. But if the My Life in Poison thing, I just think it's got to be bigger,
Yes.
and not just the title where it sits there, the branding of it, the color scheme. So I think that it's like I thought Sebastian's book was a great use of verbiage,
Yep.
18 in life, my, what is it?
Yes.
18 in life,
My life
what?
on Skid Row.
Yeah,
I
my
think.
life on Skid Row,
Yep.
and it's a photo of him, including the pull out cover that turns into the poster is from the same photo shoot as the Rolling Stone. Like that's what the people that really want to buy that they're looking for that. If Sebastian had a photo of him today, not looking his best, and there was nothing on the
Yes.
cover that indicated he was in Skid Row or the song titles or any of that, it wouldn't have impacted the same. So there's branding there,
Yeah. And Ricky's he's been nice enough to come on twice. He's
Absolutely.
commented on many videos. We've messaged from time to time. He's been so nice. And let me point this out. Here's my really I have a couple really cool Ricky stories, but here's one of them. I interviewed a guy named Sal who was at the Station nightclub fire. His best friend died in that fire and he barely escaped. In that interview, he talked about Ricky Rocket being his favorite drummer of all time, and
Right.
how he had gone to see Poison, and all the survivors of the nightclub went backstage, but somehow he didn't get to meet Ricky. I messaged that clip to Ricky and just said, "Hey, I just just wanted to throw this out there. This guy was in the night, at the station,
Right.
and Ricky
Reached out to him
recorded
and
a
reached out and
40
sent him a
second
message.
message
Yeah.
and say, "Hey man, sorry I didn't get to super, did not have to do
Right.
that." So anyway, but yes, you look at this cover and I'm like, does that scream I was the drummer in Poison? No, and if you want to sell books, you need to scream that you are the drummer in Poison. So anyway, I'm still
Right.
excited to read it, but I just think you would get more casual fans if you had a big glammed up picture, and you got to have the words Poison in big huge letters and maybe a different. Look what the cat dragged in, the most obvious book title of all time.
Right.
That's
Well, and maybe not even that, but it could be a play on some words. But Ricky's absolutely a
yeah,
man of the people. He's
totally.
a guy he's very approachable. He's very available. He goes to clubs. He does obviously his side projects. He's a guy that's at NAMM. He's making his rounds and appearing places and hanging out. So that's good. But again, I can just say this. I thought of this when we put out this record. I called it the Glam Years. It's all the demos. And the photos are the most candy ass glam photos of not only Gillette, but also me. And then there's the booklet, which is just, we're talking super, super duper glam. This
Yeah.
has most of the same songs as this. This record literally outsold this like 5-1.
Right.
And it's most the same recordings. So when a
Yeah.
glam fan sees this and that, they're like, "Oh my god, blah blah blah."
Yes.
Summertime Goodbye, Good Guys Wear Black,
Yes.
Hayward the Dime, Center Street, Forever Yours. Same songs, same recordings, different mastering job, but different color
Yeah.
scheme. This makes us look a little bit more edgy, a little bit more harder, a little bit more,
I won't tell you how I think it makes it look. No, I'm just kidding.
goofy. But this literally has outsold it 5-1. So
I
I
mean,
guess you gotta
guys
know where
like,
your bread is buttered.
guys like me back in the day, and I hate to say this because it's about the music, but if I saw a record cover or the back of a record, and those guys were holy shit screaming glam, I was like, fuck, this is probably going to be pretty good. That's why I bought the Wild Boys CD, Unleashed, and unfortunately that CD sucked. But there was a lot of those albums that I bought because guys were glammed up and I was into that shit.
Here's one more example. So when I put out Fist First in 1994, that's the cover. I wanted to use the tough ring fist photo. And
Yep.
here's the back. This was the first ever release on RLS Record, 1994. That's supposed to be a movie theater. Everyone's watching and the songs are,
Yeah.
but then when I decided to make this vinyl, I'm like, okay, I'm going to stick with the traditional album cover,
Yep.
but,
Yes.
you know,
Dramatically better.
and I know that when I was in the store and it'd be like, Tough, who's this? Oh, dude, he's got a tiger tail shirt on. Gotta buy this. I mean,
Right.
that's what happened when I
Right.
saw a Wasp record and I saw Blackie or Randy Piper was holding a Warlock. I'm like, that's the same guitar that Nicky and Mick Mars use. I'm buying this.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
literally bought it
Totally.
because they had Warlocks.
Totally.
And I guess
Totally.
I'm when I put some of this stuff together, I'm kind of thinking about what sells, the retro aspect of it, the throwback, the glam, the 80s. So some
Totally.
kind of theme would work.
Totally. And here's another super chat. Thank you. The Dillinger Compound, my good buddy, says, and I did a video on this that Motley Crue uses backing tracks. Fess up, Nikki. There was it was in Blabbermouth. Shannon Larkin from Godsmack, who used to be an Ugly Kid Joe,
Right.
was talking about how Godsmack had a drummer who was, kind of messing up at the concerts. And he goes, well, he probably wouldn't have messed up if we used a click track, but we don't use a click track. And some bands like Motley Crue use click tracks and backing tracks, blah, blah, blah. So Nikki Sixx fired back and was like, C-level bands should spend more time writing good songs than, being jealous and slinging mud. So anyway, I appreciate the super chat. I did a video where I pointed out sometimes in Motley shows where Nikki was like doing this, but you were hearing on the bass, or
Right.
Vince was doing this. And so probably fans like me say, yes, they are using tracks. I don't, Stevie, do you have an opinion about that or an opinion on using tracks?
Somebody did send me a question. I don't know if it was on social media or if it was through one of my messengers, or maybe I just read it on a comment somewhere. But a guy asked me something like, he said, what is a click track? I didn't answer it yet, but if maybe he's watching. A click track is basically a metronome of sorts, which is basically in the earphones for the drummer or the other guys. You hear the, and when they say BPMs, that means beats per minute. So depending what the tempo of the song is, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. That there's a clicking sound. So the drummer's staying on with the beat, and like every fourth beat there might be a little bit different of a click, and he's locked in. And they're using that because in the song, let's say it's 4 minutes and 42 seconds long exactly from the start to finish. There's cues where the vocal comes in, or the background, or the for like Shout at the Devil. They might have a like a reverse delay or something. All that stuff is embedded into the click track or the playback. And I'm not against it. I see there's a lot of people that just assume, oh, they're not real musicians if they use a click track or they're using. That's not true at all. There's certain things that happen in shows, especially the bigger the production becomes. Even related to, some people will say, like, why is the set always the same? I saw them 5 nights in a row, and it's the exact same set. And it could be, there's pyro, there's laser, there's a lot of, and there's stages that move. And people will remember back in, 91 or 92, James Hetfield was in the wrong place at the wrong time when a pyro pot went off, and he was so severely burned. He went to the hospital. They had to get, I think somebody from Testament played guitar for part of the tour. So a lot of times moving the set around or changing things is a lot harder. Now, everybody's different. Guns N' Roses is like Rush. I just saw right now, because Rush is out there playing, people shared the set list for the first 4 shows. They were all different.
Right.
Almost everything was different. Like different, sometimes the first or second song was 5th or 7th or 9th. And, they have like 30 or 40 songs in the set.
Rush probably isn't out there with a lot of pyro and stuff, but
Correct.
But and not that I've been in a band, but I mean,
Right.
you're exactly, there's all, and I said in the video that Patrick and I did about it, look, I said, I think most people are okay. Hey, you pump in some sound effects,
Right.
maybe even some background vocals if your band sucks at singing. But I said,
Right.
what I think the average fan, or maybe more than the average fan, wants to know, hey, I want to know that the singer's singing. I want to know that the guitar, bass, and drums are actually being played.
Right.
And
Right.
if you pump in some extra stuff and play to a click track to keep you on time, I have no problem with that. I just don't want to
Right.
hear that you're lip syncing or lip playing, whatever the term is for that.
And in
You know?
Guns N' Roses, people have questioned or said things about them. The Guns N' Roses band that was a 5-piece of a bunch of 22 or 24-year-olds playing the troubadour, when they had 15 or 20 songs in their entire repertoire. It's a different band today. And by the time Axl and the guys went to record Use Your Illusion and there's grand pianos and all that, suddenly it's like, okay, let's get an extra guitarist. Hey, let's get a keyboard player. Now there's like, let's get 2 keyboard players. And some of those, Dizzy, and then what is the girl's name? Is it Melissa, the other keyboard player in Guns N' Roses?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So they're both like utility players where they're playing, piano and organ and maracas, and Dizzy's playing bongos on some stuff, and they're both singing, and there's a lot of different things that they add to it. And then you got a couple of guitarists, and you got obviously a drummer, and you got Duff, and so that's a live band. I would say it's 100% live with them. I think the same applies for Rush, but Rush has now brought an extra guy in. There's a 4th member. He's off to the side
Right.
behind Geddy. He's playing keyboards, and Geddy himself is doing different things over there, and so I'm not anti-Trax at all myself.
No.
Charlie's pregnant. Oh my god.
Hey, Charlie is not pregnant, but trust me, if she was, it would probably have been doggy style. Just throwing that out there. Not by me.
Disgusting.
Not by me. But I did have this cousin this one time. Anyway, forget about that. Hey, Stevie, we like to hop into 3 things that's been going
Yep.
on Metal Sludge, because we are supposed to announce in about 8 minutes our big
8
announcement.
minutes is going to be the big announcement.
So, Stevie, what are some things? And you guys, I have some comments starred, so I'll get back to the comments. Thank you for all the comments. Stevie, what's going on Metal Sludge lately?
First thing, and I hate reporting this, I really do. It seems lately there's one a week or more. David Black, the guitarist from Seduce, a Detroit area band, they're basically legends there. David Black passed away this last week. I'm guessing he was in his 60s. That band has been around forever. I read up, said they formed in 1980, which is pre-Motley Crue. Obviously Seduce was also in decline of Western civilization. They were a band, obviously not on the Strip, not from that same, street where all of us were, meaning Odin, Faster, Pussycat, Poison, Tough. A lot of us were from that area. But David Black, the guitarist from Seduce, passed away. He should be shouted out. John 5 even made a comment on my Instagram that David was one of his first guitar teachers. So, and John 5 is an awesome guy, obviously a ridiculous uber talent, and he learned some of his earliest riffs from that man. So, respect to David Black and the Seduce guys in Detroit and everything they stand for. Rest in peace, buddy.
Absolutely. And what else you got going on?
Number 2 is, I just did a little plug coming up later in July. It was a big show in Anaheim, California at the Grove of Anaheim. It's going to be Slaughter, Quiet Riot, and Tough. It's a 3-band bill. I think Kiefer and LA Guns, I think, are playing there tomorrow. Killer venue. It's like a 1,500 seater. I saw Pierce C.D. Martini and Vixen there last summer. Me and my girlfriend Stephanie went. We went a couple weeks ago to see Stryper and White Lion. Hung out, chatted with Michael Sweet backstage. Him and I are bros. Saw Perry Richardson. Me and Mike Tramp chopped it up a little bit. I think I shared a photo or two. And, of course, Troy was there, and Jerry Best plays bass. All good guys. We're playing there on Friday, July 24th. Anybody in Southern California on the West Coast who make a week of it, we'll be at the the whiskey the night before, but there's a big show that we're going to do, and I'm really excited to play with Slaughter, Quiet Riot at this big venue in Anaheim.
Hey, do you know who else is going to be there?
The Hair
This
Metal
guy.
Guru is going to be in town.
I'm gonna be, and I'm gonna be at the Whiskey Show on the 23rd.
Third?
I'm gonna be 23rd, and I'll be at Anaheim, Quiet Riot, Slaughter, Tough. So fucking beyond jacked for that. So I hope to see as many people, man. And if you see me, I don't know if this sounds cheesy, but come say hi to me, because I would just love to meet as many people that watch this channel. Or if you're a fan of Tough, I would love to meet you. So
You're going to be
see you.
somewhere else too, and we're going to talk about that in 5 minutes.
5 minutes. That's right. So
Somewhere
what
else
you got?
on the West Coast, same week.
That's right. That's right. It's
okay.
coming up. We
So
got
I'll drop
283 people. 284. Let's keep them coming. Go ahead.
I'll drop my third story. We're going to Australia with this one. The Ace Frehley tribute band has officially released a statement that they canceled their run with Silverback touring. They were scheduled to play 5 shows down in Australia with Silverback. And obviously everybody knows that there's been some drama. There's been a lot of baggage. A lot of bands have canceled. Love Hate canceled in January. Trickster and Lorraine and myself canceled in late March for April. Eclipse canceled for, I believe it was May. And now we have, Ace Frehley Tribute Band is pulled out for their shows. And there's some stuff that needs to be cleaned up down there. And it's a shame, because I think a lot of these people that bought tickets are going to be chasing their refunds, and it's unfortunate. Shout out to anybody in Australia that's down there listening or watching. And the same goes to Europe and South America and the rest of the country. Thank you so much for supporting.
And if you're in Australia, throw a shrimp on the Barbie for me, if you know what I'm saying.
Right. Exactly.
Awesome. I'm going to point out 3 videos that I did on the channel. We did a hair metal confessions, and it was actually a part 2 because part 1 was so big, but it was the roundtable crew confessing the things that ordinarily you might keep secret to keep your rock credibility. And I think after we make our big announcement, maybe if we're looking for something to talk about, maybe we'll ask Stevie and some of the people in the crowd, what are some of your hair metal confessions? Like, for example, maybe you loved Nelson, or maybe you were a huge pop or rap fan, things like that. So that was one video that we did. I interviewed Eddie Robinson, who was the singer in the band Alley Cat Scratch. And on the thumbnail for the video, I said the last glam band, ? Because they were still doing heavy glam. In 1993, they put out a record called Dead Boys in Trash City. And I interviewed Eddie because F&A Records, who I do some promotion for, just re-released the Dead Boys in Trash City album. It's called Return to Trash City. So that was, Eddie's done a couple interviews before, but I think it was the most in-depth interview about his music career. He was also in a band called Resurrection Mary before Alley Cat Scratch. And then Jet 68 with Kenny Price from Blackboard Jungle and a bunch of other scene guys. So, and then today I put out a video with Patrick and Ryan about 15 hair metal songs that still make our playlists. Check those out. And then I just thought I'd throw up, I have interviews coming up with Mark Simon from Wildside, Rob DeLuca from Spread Eagle. I interviewed him yesterday. Sammy Yaffa from Hanoi Rocks is a dream interview for me because I'm a massive Hanoi Rocks fan, and I've got a few others in the can. So anyway, head to the channel, and I just saw in the comments, let me go find this real quick before our big announcement, because American Jet Set just became a channel member, and American Jet Set is playing with you at the Whiskey, correct?
Yeah, Ian the singer is a killer guy. I first heard of them, I don't know, a year and a half ago, and they put out some song, I forget the name, but it was very early Faster Pussycat-ish. And I heard it and I was like, this is actually a cool song. It's got some swagger to it. And then at some point I saw that Ian's band, American Jet Set, was playing on a bunch of bills, at the Whiskey and West Coast, but they're from like the DC area. Then at some point we did a couple features on them. They ran some ads on Sludge, and Ian's a great guy. He does killer graphics too. If you guys want killer graphics, he's done some stuff for me. Super cool guy, all good guys. Cool band. They're going to be on the bill with us, and they got a pretty good. They got other shows coming up too. They're going to be playing in Texas. I think they got a couple other West Coast dates, including they'll be back out here playing with some other people at the Whiskey, and then they got some stuff on the East Coast. Good guys.
I played. They put out a kick-ass. I love '70s singer-songwriter shit.
Right.
Jackson Brown, Bob Seger. They put out a kick-ass cover of Jackson Brown's "Running on Empty." And
Yeah, I
I've
agree.
played it on Hair Metal Mansion. It's awesome. So go check out American Jet Set, and you guys, thanks for becoming members of the channel. That is kick ass.
Ironically, I'll tell you this too. My cousin Keith Cartwright, he actually said, he called me like, I don't know, a couple week ago or something. He goes, "Dude, that American Jet Set song "Running on Empty" is awesome."
Yeah,
And Keith follows this stuff, but not religiously. But I thought
sure.
it was interesting that he pulled it up, and let me give Eddie and Robbie Black and the guys from Alley Cat Scratch a shout out. They
Yeah.
kind of were coming up after Tough was signed, after Wild Side. We were like the last couple bands to get deals off the Strip, and they started playing around. But I will tell you that if there's two bands that stuck out in the early 90s that were really making some noise and getting attention, it was Big Bang Babies and Alley Cat Scratch. And Big Bang Babies, for everybody, you might remember or know that Carrie Kelly was in that
Yep.
band. And then obviously Eddie Robinson was the singer in Alley Cat Scratch. Robbie Black was the drummer. Robbie had a pretty, cool vibe. He had a name around Hollywood, and they definitely made an impact, And then they put out that record, I think, independently, and that's the one that's
Yep.
been reissued. It's a great record. He also sang on the first Shameless record.
That's right. That's
Robbie was
right.
one of the singers with me and Steve from Floyd, and Eddie was the other third singer on the first Shameless record.
And Lisa Bernie Pilson became a channel member. Lisa, you're awesome.
Awesome.
And she just texted me before the show. And I'm going to interview Lisa because this book, Fire on Sunset, by Lisa Pilson, Lisa Bernie Pilson, is awesome. So, Lisa, thanks a
Lisa's
lot.
Lisa's a sweetheart.
Hell yes.
Well, hey,
Hell yes.
it's past 5:30, and there's
It's time.
300.
It's
There's
time.
300 plus people watching right now. So here's the announcement. I'm gonna let
Here it is.
Anthony take it from here.
Are you guys ready? Okay, watch the screen. Watch this. Here, let me get rid of this. Watch the screen closely. Where the fuck is that? Let me get rid of this stuff and check it out because when I go to California, it will be Tuesday, July 21st. And Stevie messages me. He's like, "Holy fuck,
What
we're
time
supposed to
is
do."
when does your flight land?
And I'm like, 9 a.m. And he's like, "Well, we got to do a live show that day. I have a kick-ass plan. I'm going to reach out to some people. I'll let you know if we find out if it's possible." He messaged me back, "It is possible. Here is the flyer for our Hair Metal Chaos Live number 10 on July 21st. We will be live
At the
at the
Rainbow Bar and Grill on Sunset Strip. And you know what? You're all invited. Anybody
Yes.
on the West Coast within a couple hours of LA, if you're not busy on Tuesday, July 21st, Hair Metal Chaos with myself and the Guru will be live at the Rainbow Bar and Grill. Make a reservation, bring some friends, order a pizza, come on down early, and we will
Yeah.
be live from 5 to 8. We'll be there a little earlier setting up. It's going to be an awesome night, and Jake at the Whiskey and Big Mike from the Rainbow have given us the all clear, and they gave us the all clear pretty quickly too. So we've been kind of
Yeah.
holding this under our hat for a little bit, and today's the announcement. And Anthony, what do you think? Are you excited?
Well, when you told me the idea, I was like,
Right.
"Holy fuck!" Like, and hopefully everybody else. I don't know. I thought it was huge. Hopefully everybody else thinks, because I was like,
Right.
dude, I had goosebumps. Like, right, I'm like, dude, at the Rainbow Bar and Grill, what is and I've been there once, and maybe we'll get into that, but
Right.
is maybe the center of where everybody was hanging out back in the scene. It's still like the rock and roll capital of the Sunset Strip. And for
Yep.
us to be able to go in there and do a live show, and then, yes, invite. I mean, come to the show. It's gonna be the same time. It's gonna be from 5 to 7. Um, but we'll be, I don't know where exactly we're gonna be set up in one of the booths. We'll probably be there around 3, because Jeremy, my buddy Jeremy Lauer, we're gonna be flying. We're getting in at about 9 a.m. We're gonna go to our hotel in Burbank, and then once we get set up, we're gonna go to the Rainbow, meet up with Stevie. Hopefully around 3. We'll hang out. Maybe we'll eat for a little bit, and then the show will start at 5. But come in and we'll take questions. If you want to pop on and be on camera, maybe we can probably make that happen. And I am beyond. It was the greatest idea ever, and to get it approved was awesome. So Stevie, I appreciate you doing all that.
Well, and I will say this. Last week we had a special guest pop on. July 21st, I already started making some calls, and I got a couple of, maybe I'll come down. So
Okay.
we can only hope that a couple of my buddies, couple of friends, couple people from the scene, maybe some people that you guys are fans of, maybe we get a couple people to stop in and visit with us, you know. But in the meantime, I'm going to be there. Anthony's going to be there. We're going to be live from the Rainbow Bar and Grill, and can't wait. It's going to be awesome. I think Eddie Trunk's done a couple things from there before, and they've had other events. I went to the premiere screening for Nothing But a Good Time, the uncensored years of hair metal, or whatever it was called, that documentary that came out a few years ago. And they played a couple of clips of it, and the place was full. You know, Tracy Guns was there,
Right.
and Don Dawkin, and Rudy Sarzo, and you know, I went with Michael Lean, and Michael brought his wife, and I brought Stephanie, and that was a killer time. So I can only hope that, I know it's a Tuesday, it's dinner time, and if
Yep.
you got a little time and you're in the area, by all means, come down to the Rainbow, grab, order a pizza, bring a couple people, and and come meet the Guru in person.
Shit, come meet Stevie. I'm jacked to meet you. Yes, obviously, I would love to, but I'm probably people are be jacked to meet you. I'll be jacked to meet anybody who wants to meet me. So amazing. Here's a comment. You guys should also do something for the Monsters of Rock pre-party and or broadcast live from the ship. I think those are great ideas, and I will be. I mean, I'll be making as much content as possible from the week that I'll be in LA, and be at the Rainbow, be at the Whiskey on the 23rd, at the show on Anaheim on the 24th, and the Monsters of Rock cruise, and when I go to Monsters on the Mountain with Patrick and Jones and all that. That'll be in August, so I'll be making content all over the place. So absolutely.
I know, John. He's a supporter. He's a sludger. John, what's up, dude? Thank you for the years of support with the site and with Tough for RLS and now the Guru. And trust me, dude, we got a lot of stuff planned.
Yeah.
By next year, I just looked at the calendar. The cruise is actually May 6th to the 11th. So we get
Yep.
home on the 11th, which means we'll be back early that morning. And depending on what Anthony's flights are, if he's still here and not flying till, I'm guessing he's flying home on the 11th. But if chances are if you're here till the 12th, then we'll do a show live from LA after we get off the ship. But we'll have to see,
I'll plan my flight so we can do it that way. Totally.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
And all of what you just said there, Klapauchi, I think that's how you say your name. Anthony and I have talked about all this, and he's going to be he's already been set up with access at the mountain and the cruise. So he's going to be all over and doing some impromptu clips and probably interviewing not only some of the rock stars but some of you fans.
Oh, yes, yes. And I don't know if hopefully it's okay to say this, but Stevie has talked to somebody that works with the Monsters on the Mountain and the crews, and
You
so
can give her a shout out right here. She's probably watching.
So April Howard has apparently watched some of our shows, our live shows. She's good friends with Stevie, and she reached out to him and said, "Oh, I heard that Anthony the Guru is
She's
planning on
awesome.
going is planning holy shit is planning on going to Monsters of the Mountain." So and the Monsters of Rock cruise. Well, she works with both of those events, so she is going to try to give me like I'm going to kind of call it a press pass, but
Hmm.
so I can get access to artists and be able to create content. So April, I don't know if you're watching, but she called me up and she's like, "I got you. I'm going to take care of you." I'm like, "Wow, that is amazing."
April is
So
awesome.
yes, yes. So that is going to kick ass. And I know there's a at the end of I'm just throwing this out there. I don't know if it's going to happen, but at the end of December there are a ton of shows happening at the Whiskey, like Faster Pussycat, LA Guns, Pretty Boy Floyd, White Lion. What's that? Oh, there's our flyer.
I'm just throwing our flyer up again while you're chatting there, so everyone can see it once again.
Here, I'll do that. But ton of shows at the end of December at the Whiskey for like 5 days, and Jones and some other guys, a friend of mine, Lori, who is a member of the channel, we're talking about going for that as well. So I'm like, fuck, pretty soon I'm just gonna have to move to LA because I don't know if Fargo is really considered the rock and roll center of America, but I do like Fargo. I like the people. So anyway, so yes, tons of stuff happening, tons of content coming up. So it's gonna be awesome.
And I'm going to
Let me.
share that I'm going to share that flyer as soon as we're done here, as is Anthony. So if anybody and everybody you see it, by all means, feel free to copy it and share it for us as well. We're going to be live at the Rainbow Tuesday, July 21st. The show will be standard time, just like this, 5 to 7. That's 5 o'clock Pacific
Yep.
Standard Time. But we will be there a little early to set up. And like we said, you might want to call and make a reservation for that day at some point and tell them you're coming down. They got great food. If you've never been there, I'm guessing you have, or at least some of you have, but it's a great place to hang. There's a downstairs, there's an upstairs, there's a patio, there's Lemmy's Lounge. You can get a picture with the Lemmy statue. It's
Yep.
and there's so many cool pictures on the wall.
Oh.
Like there's I'm thinking I told him already, I said I want to set up in the Guns N' Roses booth in the corner or
Yeah.
along the back tables there. And then the whole room is there for anybody that wants to come down. I know Stephanie might come down with some of her girlfriends, and even though it's a work night, we're not going to be there too late. By 7 o'clock the show is over. So if anybody wants to come for dinner, that's going to be a cool stop that week.
Absolutely, and I already saw people in the comments talking about like oh, if I drive from here. So yes, let us know. Reach out to me on social media beforehand, and
Right.
like if you're like, hey man, I'm thinking about coming, or I don't know if there's anything I can do for people, but if you're like, oh man, maybe I got to come by myself, let me know, because to me this is like a big community. All the people that come on the channel, I consider those guys my brothers, and to me, anybody who actually gives a shit about coming and watching what I and Stevie and all these guys do on YouTube, like that genuinely means a lot to me. Like I don't take that for granted at all. So reach out to me if there's anything I can do to help get you to make up your mind to come, because we want to see everybody there. And we're going to get into we're going to talk a little bit about the Sunset Strip here in a little bit, and maybe ask your opinions on what are some things that I need to see, because I've only been there once. There was a lot I didn't see, so we're going to get into that. I want to get to a couple of these questions, because I don't want to miss any super chats or
Yeah, I was going
any.
to say
So
rip some questions off. So should I answer this one? So
go ahead.
Brian Linville asks, "Have I ever played with Y&T?" Actually, no. I've met a couple of the guys. As a matter of fact, I think they were on the last cruise, and I was standing in a I don't know somewhere I was standing, and Dave Meniketti was in the area. I probably said hello to him at some point, but we've never really hung out. Never played with them, but I did play with my favorite San Francisco area, Bay Area band of all time. Played with Vane many times.
Bane.
Vane's, Y&T is a Bay Area band, so we played with Vane in Oakland at the Omni. We played with them down here at the Country Club. Davey and Jamie back in the day got up and jammed with us. Jamie Delana got up and jammed with us at the Roxy. I think we jammed with them and the Whiskey. Davey got up with me and jammed with me and Alex and Shameless in Germany, which was a trip because Davey at some point reached out and said, this is like 15 years ago when social media was still picking up. Maybe Facebook was newer. It might even have been MySpace. And he says, dude, I'm in Germany and I just saw some flyer at a record store that says, you're playing at this club. And it's right by where I'm staying. I said, I am. He's like, really? And I said, yeah, dude, you should come down. And Davey came down, and then I invited him up, and he did a couple songs with us. Like we did Live Wire, a couple covers. And, dude, the people went crazy. I mean, they were excited as it was. Not to put myself on a pedestal, but I'm this guy from the Sunset Strip, and I'm in this little town in Germany at this club. And then all of a sudden, Davey Vane pops up. They were like, holy shit, this is insane. So it was an awesome time. But Y&T is a killer band from the Bay Area that's been around forever and had a couple of big hits and true road dogs. I mean, they've been around for years. They're like a 70s band, right? Originally.
Bane? Well, I mean,
no, Y&T. I'm talking
Y&T.
about
Y&T
yeah.
was their first stuff came out in like 75, 76.
Right, and they were called Yesterday and
Yesterday and Today
before they shortened the name. But yeah, good guys.
Right. Stevie, I don't like to put myself on a pedestal either, but I did go to get my oil changed the other day in Fargo. And when I walked in to pay, the guy at the counter goes, holy shit, you're the hair metal guru.
Really?
And I was like, well, son of a bitch, I am. Yes.
Dude, that's awesome.
It was pretty crazy. In Fargo, like, wow.
Amazing.
Here's a couple more. Oh, there's so many comments, you guys, that I really want to get to. The Dillinger Compound. Thanks for the super chat. What's Stevie's? Oh, it's always about Stevie. Just kidding. What's Stevie's thoughts on Rip Mag's Lawn Friend?
I've known Lon forever. Rip Magazine. They did a few things on us, not a ton, but they had an offshoot that was called Rock Beat. So Rock Beat, Rip was more Metallica, Infectious Grooves, Suicidal Tendencies. They did the heavier stuff, but they did Poison and Skid Row and Motley as well. But Rock Beat was covering a lot more of the quote unquote hair band. So we got a bunch of stuff in Rock Beat. I got some pinups over the years and some blurbs and a little bit of coverage in Rip as well. I'm thankful for all those magazines, whether it was Lawn Friends, Rip and Rock Beat, or Jerry Miller's Metal Edge, and there's Hit Parader, there's Circus, there's a ton of others. All of those magazines, I'm so grateful for the support and the coverage we got way back in the day.
Before you and I became friends or, started chatting, but we were friends on Facebook.
Right.
I have like probably 1,000 old music magazines. Right. And I used to, when I'd scroll through them, if I saw something on Tough, I would take a picture of it and just send it to you and be like, hey, here's from, Hit Parader from 1990, just in case. Right. And, you'd be like, oh, that's cool, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, it's always cool to see Tough in those mags. But here's a new one, Hobo Raider. Thanks for the super chat. What are y'all's opinions of Oasis? When they got big, I loved Wonderwall and Don't Look Back in Anger and those songs. I was totally into that, like kind of, I don't know, acoustic Beatles stuff. I wasn't a big grunge guy, but I liked the Gin Blossoms and Oasis and things like that. So I didn't stick with, I loved that album. It's not like I own everything they had, but I liked Oasis.
I liked them too. They obviously had a couple of songs that were just massive hits. You can't deny singing along to them.
Yeah.
But if you asked me to name 5 Oasis songs, I couldn't do it. You know,
I
and
might, but
I'm sure if you played 8 or 10 of them, maybe I'd go, oh, I've heard that before. You
yeah.
know, I thought
Yeah.
it was always interesting that those two brothers were feuding in the same way that I guess Chris and Rich were from the Black Crowes.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
you know, in the band together, but still feuding like no day, you know, like there's no tomorrow. And then you had
Yeah.
other siblings that got along great. You know, Dimebag and Vinny were best of friends. You know, and Alex and Eddie and Van Halen were best of friends.
Yep.
But those guys in Oasis and Black Crowes were both like, "Fuck you! I don't want to ever talk to you again." You know, or they'd break up the band on stage and then not
Jeez.
talk to each other for a year. It's like, come on, guys.
Right.
But good stuff, talented guys, obviously. And I do remember which one of them said it at some point. Said something like, "We're better than the Beatles" or something like that, and it got a ton of press.
Yes.
You know, when they were really peaking. You know.
I remember feeling really bad because they won an award, and the award was given to them by Michael Hutchence from In Excess. And this is like
Ah,
'95, so In Excess is kind of on their way down. You know,
right.
Oasis is on their way up, but Michael Hutchence gives them the award, and one of the brothers, as they're walking off, says, "Has-beens shouldn't be given to awards to gonna bees." And I was like, "What an
Wow.
asshole!"
Right.
And I know that was kind of they were assholes, you know, but
Right.
yeah.
Right.
Colonel Patrick, my fucking amazing friend who does and I just so Patrick, thanks for the super chat. He says, "Look how far this has all come from the first video all the way to now. Everyone take notice. This is just the beginning." I don't think the channel gets where it is today without Patrick. I used to put out like a video a week, and you know, I'd message people for interviews here and there, and then he was like, "Hey man," he goes, "I love the channel." He goes, I had some health issues. This channel just really was like, you know, I'd sit and watch you, and it just kind of helped get me through this difficult time." He started coming on the channel. Then he said, "Hey, is there anything I can do for you?" And I was like, "Well,
Hmm.
you know, like I, you know, if I'm going to do more content, I need to do more interviews." He's like,
Right.
"I'll reach out to all the artists for you."
Right.
So he starts email, and he's like messaging me every Monday. He's like, "I sent out 50 emails." And he goes, "And here's who I
Wow.
got yeses from." So he was doing all this stuff. And then he was like giving me video ideas. And you know, like, it's so much easier to do a video with somebody where you can bounce things back and forth than
Right.
just doing it by yourself. I do plenty of stuff by myself, but he is so dedicated to this and so serious about it that I think he encouraged me to be like, "You know what? Yeah, let's take this thing to the next level." And so he has been a huge part of it. Patrick, I will never be able to thank you enough. Patrick is going on the Monsters of Rock cruise with me next year. We're going to Monsters on the Mountain. So thank you again.
Well, hey, and I echo all that. You know, obviously, I haven't met any of you guys. Just talked on the phone a little bit. I've talked to Patrick as well, and I've watched a bunch of this stuff. Of course, I can't keep everybody straight. I know who Patrick is. I know who you are. I know who Stephanie is. Um, but you know the other guys too. You know, Stone and Jeremy and is there Ryan, right? So all good
Ryan,
guys. I've watched a bunch of your stuff, and it's cool. You guys got a cool little thing here. When I noticed the channel, I don't know, when was it? A year ago, maybe a year and a half ago. I picked up a couple clips, and little by little, I thought the same thing. I thought this is a cool channel. I liked what you stood for. I liked your message, and I wanted to help as well. So I started slinging it on Sludge, you know, and then at one point reached out and said, you know, let's. I got an idea. I got another idea. I got another
right,
idea, and here we
right.
are, and where this is show number 7, and
Yep.
by our 10th show, we're going to be live at the Rainbow, and I'm real curious to see how that's going to go, and we've got some other cool ideas as well.
Yes.
I mean, there's more to
I
come.
Yeah, and like obviously those people who are invited to the Rainbow, if you're coming from a distance, hopefully you can maybe make a way to go to the shows, come to the whiskey. I've never been to the whiskey. I walked outside
Right.
it, and I was like, "Fuck! I want to see a show there so bad."
Right.
So for Tough to be my first show is going to be fucking amazing. Eden Music, Eden, right? Been years since I've been to the Rainbow, but the pizza was shit. Is that good?
Pizza was
Oh,
the bomb.
the
That's a
bomb.
bomb. The
Shit,
bomb.
I gotta get up to date with the emojis. Pizza was the bomb. I do the carnivore diet. I might have to take a week off when I go to LA. So
You're
thank you,
frozen,
Eden.
Anthony. You're
Huh?
frozen. You're
Shit, am I?
frozen. Flip yourself left and right once and see what happens.
Check, check, check. Am I still frozen? Am I still frozen?
You are still frozen. I don't
Okay,
know
I'm
if
gonna
everyone else thinks
refresh.
you're frozen.
I'm gonna refresh.
I'll ask Stephanie if he's frozen. Anyways, while he refreshes everybody, check out. I got a new box of these in today. My sizes. There you are. You're back. Back in black.
Tell them about your shirts. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I got a new box of the Metal Sludge shirt in stock today. I had run out of some sizes. The shirt's popular, but now it's full. I got small, medium, large, extra large, double, triple, and quadruple extra large. So, and shout out to all my big boys in the Midwest, because I do got guys that reach out and say, "Hey, you got big boy sizes?" And I'm like, "Yes, I do. 2, 3, and 4X." So
Awesome.
rock a shirt, and I'll be sure to throw a CD in, as I always do. And anybody that's watching that's ordered, you know. And I appreciate when you guys share your package that you get from me and say, "Hey, I ordered some stuff. I got this vinyl, and I got some other goodies with it too." So shout out, and thank you for supporting the Hair Metal Guru. We're here once again, show number 7.
Okay, I'm gonna show this because it's a super chat, but you can read that comment. Hey, Jason Green, I used his interviews to research. Nothing against Jason Green. Stevie, I know you're friends with Jason.
Yeah, I haven't talked to Jason recently, but I did the same with Jason that I did with you for a long time. I
Yep.
was giving him plenty of love. Obviously, he's friends with Wednesday, who I introduced him to, and they're buddies. Matter of fact, me and Wednesday actually went to the other night over the weekend. Me and Wednesday and my girlfriend Stephanie, we went to a showing of The Dirt at the
Yeah.
Sherman Oaks Galleria, which is. I told this to Wednesday. He was like, "Really?" That's where they shot part of Fast Times at Ridgemont High back in the day. So
right.
it was a neat thing. I don't know if they did this in other cities, but the first 30 minutes was a Q&A with Nikki and Tommy, pre-recorded. They talked about The
Okay.
Dirt. Honestly, it was, I told this to Wednesday and Stephanie as well. Never saw The Dirt. I never saw it until Saturday. I saw little clips of it, but that was the first time seeing it. And then after The Dirt, there was a short intermission, and then they played Motley Crue Uncensored, the home video from front to back, which also includes all the videos, but it has all the little segments of them in the studio and Tommy on the motorcycle and Vince in the limo with the hot tub. And it was a cool time. And of course, between the intermission, we went to the bathroom, and both Wednesday and I got recognized by some fans. And then afterwards, we got recognized again, and some people wanted photos and stuff like that. So it was a really cool little thing to go to. I enjoyed it, and so did Wednesday and Stephanie. We had a dinner date. We went to the Cheesecake Factory first,
Ooh.
and then we went to that. So
Okay. Wednesday and I did an interview. It's 2 hours and 45 minutes. It'll be out probably, if not this week, the next week. It was awesome. And so he and I kind of, text here and there. But he tells me that he's pretty sure he's going to the Slaughter, Quiet Riot, Tough show in Anaheim. So I'm looking forward to meeting him there. So Stephanie Mandel gave a super chat. Stephanie, thank you. And she says, "I'll be there. Can't wait to meet Anthony and watch the show live." Is she saying that she'll be at the Rainbow?
I think so.
Okay, awesome. Shit. I can't wait. Stephanie is awesome. She's always so supportive and texts me nice things after the shows, even when I fuck things up. She'll be like, "Oh, you did a great job." So, Stephanie, you're the best.
And I will
And we
say that I
go
love
ahead.
her dearly, and I'm glad she puts up with me.
Yeah, sometimes I wonder, like, how do you do that? Like, you got to drink or take prescription pills or something? No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. George Scarvellis, who has been here every week and always does super chats, man. I really appreciate it. Hey, Stevie, will Kings of Sunset Strip Volume 1 ever be released on vinyl? I really hope it does.
This is Sunset Strip Volume 1, and it contains 12 tracks, 3 from Angora, John Corabi's first
John?
band,
Yep.
three from Tommy Gun, 3 from Jailhouse, and 3 from Young Guns, which obviously evolved into Wildside. Will it ever turn into vinyl? Probably not. Compilation on vinyl. I mean, putting together vinyl it's a very costly project. It really is. And anything that you're going to replicate, manufacture like a CD, and putting these vinyl records together, it's really costly. It really is. So
Right.
never say never, but as of right now, probably not. So,
Okay. Okay.
but and if I did it, I would do kind of like I did with Fist First. I would redo some of the artwork and make it a little bit more attractive looking. This is from 20 2003. It's like 22, 23 years old already. And it's a great little CD. It's got some cool tracks, but I don't know if vinyl's in the mix.
Here, Charlie wants to say hi.
What's up,
Charlie,
Charlie?
today was it's been rainy here in Fargo, but today was super nice. So we not
A
only
little
went for
sunny out.
one walk, we went for two walks. Yeah, and you met some boyfriends. Yeah, because everybody liked you so much because you're very popular on YouTube. Anyway, she always we always stop whenever we see kids, and I'm like, you can pet, I try not to look like the scary guy. I'm like, you can pet her. She's the
Right.
nicest girl in the world. So anyway, here. Let's get through these, and guys, thank you for the super chats. Really, thank you. It's awesome. Eden Music again was watching an old vid with Milyanko Matejevich, I think is how you pronounce it. He mentioned a project with the In Flames guitarist. Did anything become of that? Can't find any info. He was my very first interview on the channel. And
Really?
and he was. And it was awesome. I was like, I just reached out to a publicist. He was in a movie and I was at like 1,200 subscribers. And I'm like, hey, I got 1,000 subscribers. I'd
Right.
love to interview because I got this email saying, hey, Milyanko is doing publicity. Anyway, he was my first interview. I don't know the answer to that question. I did hear about that as well, but I'm not sure what came of the In Flames collaboration.
I I don't know either. And I don't well, I take that back. I think I met Millie. We played, pretty sure we played a show in Denver at a club called Bangles in like
Okay.
91 or something,
Yep.
somewhere like that. And Ricky Rocket and Millie, I call him Millie, it's easier, you
Yep.
know?
That's what I called him in the interview too.
Yeah, I think he
Millie.
doesn't mind if you call him Millie. But him and Millie and Ricky Rocket were actually, they showed up at Bangles for our show. And it was very casual. We were playing and there was people everywhere. And of course, they were getting all kinds of attention as well. So I think at some point we're like, hey, what's up, bro? And that was it.
Yeah.
Then in Peru, about 3 years ago, I did a show down there. It was myself, Millie, and Ted Poley from Danger Danger. So I got to spend a little time with him, and me and Millie had a great time. Super cool guy, and man, talk about a talent. Dude can still sing his ass off.
Yeah.
I mean, and he's well put together. He's in good shape. He's a good guy, hard worker, and but yeah, he's got a voice, and he's a solid dude, good
I
guy.
I I saw him live. It was like 2007 or 8, I think.
Right? Right.
And he was still like, obviously that's still a long time ago, but I was like, holy shit, he can still hit those notes. And I've
Right.
seen YouTube stuff, and the dude can, and he looks like he keeps himself in good shape. So,
Yeah, he's in great shape.
holy shit, somebody from Fargo.
Awesome.
L3 from ND. Hello from Fargo. You two make a great team. Love the channel. Hey, whoever you are from Fargo, thank you. And that kicks ass and shit. It's nice to meet some other people in this area that know of this. So hopefully we'll run into you sometime. Kick ass. Thank you. And who else? Then we got a couple more guys. Thank you for Lipstick NL13. Hi to both of you. Stevie, of the bands you've toured with, which band was the hardest to get along with and made touring with them really tough to do, Stevie?
I was trying to find the photo of me and Millie in
Oh, okay.
Peru together, but I can't find it. Of all the bands you toured, which band made it the hardest to get along with and made the tour really tough? I don't know if the whole tour was tough, but Lita Ford she wasn't the friendliest to us, but some of her guys in her band were cool, there's a lot of the dates we did were like we do one or two shows with somebody, so we never had a full tour where we were with somebody for like 4 weeks or 5 weeks, every single day. And that's where
Right.
you really start to bond and make friendships and stuff like that. When you're just playing together for one night, or you're at a festival and there's 10 bands backstage and
Yeah.
everybody's kind of, now doing the cruises and playing at some of these festivals later in life, that everybody's older and a little bit more mature, it's not as much of a, we're better than you and we're the headliner and you're not and I'm gonna fuck your girlfriend or whatever. That's a lot of that stuff is by the wayside, but I mean, I don't remember. We always had, there could have been a few issues, but nothing that warrants a story,
I told Ryan I wanted to bang his wife on the channel, but I was just kidding. So anybody who
right?
thinks, you know, um, and this is maybe off topic, but I'm assuming you have good internet on the cruise. Is that? I don't know why I just thought of
You
this.
know, it's I always buy the Wi-Fi package. It's pretty expensive actually. It's
Oh,
like
okay.
$20 a day or something like that, or $15 a day. But it's worth it because I can't go on a ship for 5 days and not have any connection with the real world.
No,
I just can't. I
no.
have to have some kind of connection. And it's not like, I'm not a drinker, so I'm not going to spend, $500 on alcohol. But if I got to spend $100 or whatever it is to have Wi-Fi for the week, I want
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
So what's the next
Yep.
question there?
Patrick Reeves says, Stevie, can you discuss how far in advance you knew Vince was back in Motley in '97 and how you found out?
I I don't believe I did know. I mean, I probably heard
Okay.
rumors and things like that. But when did yeah, so I guess there was a point when Metal Sludge was up and we announced we got a video. I've talked about this in maybe in other interviews. We got an interview sent to us when Motley Crue was back together with everybody. If you remember, there was a point when Tommy wasn't in the band, and they had
Yep.
Samantha Maloney from Hole
Yep.
playing drums,
Randy
and
Castillo was in the band for a while.
Randy Castillo played for a while. Rest in peace to Randy. He was a sweetheart of a guy. But I know that we got a video, and it was hyping their tour, but it didn't say their name. It was just like all this fast moving and music and loud whatever. And then at the very end of it, it's like, you waited long enough. And it went to the still shot. And it's the clip in the Home Sweet Home video where the girl's shirt is just
Yeah.
about to come up and it stopped.
Right.
So they didn't say Motley Crue. They didn't show the band. It was just like,
Yeah.
like the cameras were moving and loud music and whatever. But it wasn't discernible music. It was just noise. And then all of a sudden it was like, you waited long enough, or whatever. And it was this frozen, and it was that little clip of that girl's right before her
Right.
tits were shown. And we put that on Metal Sludge, and that night my phone rang, and I answered it, and they said, "Is this Stevie Rachelle from Metal Sludge?" And I said, "Yes, it is." And she said, "Okay, well, I need to talk to you." I said, "Who is this?" And she said, "This is Katie McNeil from 10th Street Management. We handle Motley Crue. Where did you get that video that's on your website?" And I said, "I have my sources, you know." And she goes, "Well, I need you to take it down." I said, "Well, I'm not going to take it down. And where did you get my phone number from anyways?" And she said, "I have my sources, you know." And so we kind of went back and forth, but she was really cool. And she said, "Okay, I'll make you a deal. I'll meet you halfway. Let me send you a different video. Take that one down. You can put this other one up." So I have a feeling they might have leaked it to us, especially
Right.
20 years ago when Metal Sludge was kind
Right.
of at the peak and it was really,
Yeah.
you know, so it created some buzz. But what they're talking about here, that was when Vince came back, but Tommy wasn't in the band still, right?
Well, no, when he came back in '97 for Generation Swine, Tommy was back in the band
Right. Okay. So then Tommy left again after that, or was
later
whatever, went,
for the next
to,
for the next album. But I'll throw
right.
this out there: when I interviewed Robbie Crane, and they were touring with Vince in '96, but he said Vince didn't come out and say it, but he said he started to get the inkling that
Right.
he was going back to Motley. I think that was in '96, or
Right.
you know, I could have the dates wrong, but he was talking about that. He's like, yeah, I started to kind of realize this probably is coming to an end because Motley's
Right.
going to get back.
I was just going to say, yeah, because Robbie was there, Brent Woods was there. They would know. They've told me some
Yep.
crazy stories over the years about stuff, you know.
I would love to get Brent Woods on the show at some point. Chris Adams says, Patrick, you are the man, buddy. And Chris Adams has been a channel member for 3 months. That is awesome. Chris. And you are the man. I really do appreciate it. Here's a couple more. Guys, I got to get through these super chats because I want to answer your questions, but we got to do the super chats. Your cousin
Right.
Vinny, greatest to see the channel blowing up. Did you, I'm assuming he means here, Chris and Neely talking about you, Guru. Chris Aiken from the Classic Metal Show. I've never talked to Neely, but Chris and we text. He has helped me out. I've had questions about technology. Chris Aiken is a technology guru,
Yeah,
and he's
he
helped
is.
me out with some stuff. One of the reasons that we're probably doing a lot better than we used to do is because of Chris. I watch the Classic Metal Show stuff all the time, and I did hear them talking about me. I heard them talking when they had Eric Ferentinos on, and Chris was like, "Yeah, that guy's blowing up," and he's, instead of being like, "Well, fuck that guy," he's like, "No, I'm going to help you out because you're doing stuff that I like," and so I will always promote Chris Aiken and the Classic Metal Show.
Yeah, Chris and Neely both. They're both old
Yep.
OGs. You know, Chris has
Yep.
been around forever. Before, and they've been doing this podcast. The Classic Metal Show was around before that Metal Show was around. They've been
Yeah.
doing this a long time. And Chris, at some point, if I'm not mistaken, he used to write for, I think it was called the Cleveland Scene. He's from Ohio.
Okay.
And we're talking, you know, late 80s, early 90s or whatever. And I know he was in the military. He was in the Army, right? Is that what
Yep.
he was in?
Yep.
So, but at some point, Chris was part of the music scene going back to when it was, you know, magazines and local, you know, entertainment guides. He was reviewing shows, Judas Priest and Motley and Rat, and so he's always been in the mix. And then at some point when the internet popped up, you know, I knew of those guys when Metal Sludge is around, you know.
Yeah. And
So,
you know, and people that do this stuff, that do these YouTube music channels, he could be like, I'm not helping that fucking guy. He does
right,
something similar to what. No, he's like, no, I'm going to help you out. I like what you
right.
do, so I try to, you know, be the same way if at all possible. Got a couple more. Mike, who is a channel member, can't wait to meet you on the mountain. Mike, I watch a ton of your stuff that you do with Jones, and we'll get you on this channel sometime if you're interested in that. But thank you, and looking forward to meeting everybody on the mountain and you as well, Mike. Thank you very much, Nick Fuller. By the way, remember, if I miss any of these, please let me know. Please, people in the comments, let me know. Nick Fuller, did anything change in your show productions or concerts, Stevie, after the Great White Fire happened? Did you ever meet Jack Russell? Well, I'll just, before you start, I met Jack Russell at a show once after the fire, and I was going to college. I was writing for my college paper, and I got to interview Mark Kendall after that show. But when I asked Jack Russell, he would, and he was nice about it, but he said, I can't do an interview because of lawsuit stuff to do with the fire. So anyway, Stevie, did you change anything after the Great White Fire? You guys were never doing pyro or anything, but
Well, we were, I mean, tough when we were playing back in the 80s. There's videos of us using pyro at the Troubadour and some of these places. We went on the road, we had flash pots and stuff, but we weren't using, the burn sparklers that they had, but we had done some pyro stuff in clubs. Not a good idea. We did it in Exciter in my original band in like 85. And as far as, did I ever meet Jack Russell? Can you see that?
yes, I can. Yes, you did.
That's actually an old photo. We played a show together, I think somewhere, and me and Jack took that photo. That's on the internet.
Cool.
And there's also a couple of other photos that were popped up and laying around over the years. Jack was a good guy. He and I, we went back and forth with a few things. I at some point, when he split with his band, and because of Sludge, there's things that I've said. At the end of the day, I own it. There's things I've said about bands or said about people publicly, and it is what it is. I have my thoughts, I have my ways, and along the way, I've probably upset a few people, but
Right.
it's life. I'm not a murderer, I'm not a rapist, I'm not a thief. But I might have ruffled some feathers.
I've had people say to me like, "Hey, are you worried about teaming up with Stevie because he has pissed off some people in the past?" And I said, "You know what? No, because I was such a fan of Metal Sludge. I loved your honesty. Were there times in the Sludge years where I was like, I thought you pushed things too far? Sure, but I loved your honesty. And then you reached out and you were like so supportive of me, being one of the first people that I genuinely looked up to. And I said, you know what? If people, let's say somebody would say, I'm not going to do an interview because he works with Stevie Rachelle. I'm okay with that because
Right.
I will always, like me and you. I mean, and due to this show, we're pretty much, tagged at the hip now anyway. So there's nothing to do about it. But no, I would never change anything anyway. So
And when you say pushed some things, were you talking about me or were you talking about Metal
no,
Sludge?
Metal Sludge,
Because again, and in the early days of Metal Sludge, it wasn't just me. I also my partner
of
Sean,
course,
who
yep,
was the Janie Bon Neal. He
yep,
was the end all editor, and there
yep,
was times that him and I didn't agree. And I equated it to being in a band. Two guys are
yep,
like, what are we going to put on the record? I don't like that song. I want to co-write.
hmm,
No, we're not playing that live. No, we're not going to do that direction. I don't like that image. Oh, we're not going to let that band open for us. We're changing management. At some point, the guys in the band have to agree. And it's like people
yep,
have said, band members have said, it's like being married to 3 or 4 people.
yeah,
So even me
yeah,
and Sean, when we had Metal Sludge, there was things that he wanted to do that I didn't. There was
yeah,
interviews that he was doing with people. It's like, I didn't know a lot about Ginger and the Wild Hearts.
yeah,
I wasn't the biggest fan of Scott Ian and Anthrax, but
yep,
Sean, he was. So he had people that wanted to facilitate an interview with those people, and we did it. And I'm like, well, let's get our friends, let's get these guys from Wildside to do something. Or, I like
right,
certain bands. But it is what it is.
Oh yeah.
My name's been out there forever, and I understand that not everybody likes me, not everybody's going to be my friend, and I'm okay with that.
You know who everyone likes? It's Charlie.
Charlie.
Charlie's the only one everyone likes here. Follow me on social media. I try to share videos. Oh, here she is. Like when we go for walks or sometime so Charlie's getting to be a little social media star of her own right. Here is
Right?
Johnny8771 says, "Hi all, proud to be a new channel member. Thank you so much. Striper is putting out a new record. New single is great. Be a cool interview. I listened to the new single. I think it's called Thorn of Thrones, the new Striper single. And I've been, maybe I should, I like Striper. I was never like, oh man, I'm rushing out to buy every new Striper album, but I do like Striper. I appreciate, and I would love to interview Michael. So,
Well, maybe at some point I can
yeah,
make
you
a
guys are best
call.
friends now.
Not
You guys are
exactly
buddies
best
now.
friends, but that's a great example. Michael and I, we played a few shows together over the years, but we never really hung out. But there was times when I, saw stuff that he posted, or he was ranting about Sebastian
Yep.
or about Motley, and I would cover the story, and then maybe I'd give some opinion that maybe he didn't like. So he at some point, during this last cruise, had said that he wanted to confront me or wanted to talk to me. Simultaneously, Sebastian Bach did. I went up
Right.
to both of them, and it was two completely different outcomes. Me and Michael ended up shaking hands. We traded numbers. We talked on the phone a few times. We've texted. We just saw him backstage at their show a couple of weeks ago, and obviously we know what happened with Sebastian. So
Right.
there's different ways to go about things, and but I like the first couple Striper records. I'm not a completist. I don't have 10 or 12 or whatever their records are. I couldn't tell you any of their other music. If you played a couple of their songs, though, I could recognize Michael's voice.
Totally.
He's got a great voice. He's got a lot of range.
Totally.
Obviously, that signature Striper sound with those guitars, I can recognize that. But
And the dude is a monster guitar player for
yes,
people who
yeah.
think he just sings for Striper. That dude is a monster guitar player. And here is and I think this new album they're putting out is like their 18th record. Holy shit.
Is it 18? I was going to say 10 or 12, but
Yeah.
yeah, he's very what's the word?
Prolific.
Prolific. That's the word. He's put out a ton of, they've put out a ton of Striper records, solo records. Then he's done the Sweet Lynch stuff and the,
Yep.
Sun Bomb with Tracy Guns. Like he's probably putting 2 or 3 records a year out.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of the word prolific, I used to teach high school English, and the girls tell me they love me for my big dictionary. Just so
Oh,
you know.
excellent.
Anyway, here,
They love me
Jay.
for my encyclopedia. Wait, that
That's
didn't make
right.
any sense.
That didn't make any sense. Jay Jesmer, love the show. Keep up the great work and content. I'm on the road a lot, and you keep me entertained with my hair metal fix. Rock on. When I get messages like that, I'm like, dude, it still baffles me that people go, you know what? When I'm bored, I listen to you. Like I thank you, because I never saw that coming. So thanks a lot, Jay Jesmer, for the super chat. Oh yeah, we should probably on
Just
this.
just just throwing it up there a little bit, a couple of times. So if there's some people on here that weren't here an hour ago, we can
Yes.
let you know.
The problem with StreamYard is that I put files in that I can put up, and
Right?
sometimes they just disappear. So like right now I'm going back in to
Trying
upload
to
it to
find it.
StreamYard. So there is the flyer. July 21st. I'll be flying Jeremy Lauer, who is a teacher in North Dakota. He's probably one of the nicest guys I've ever met in my life. He's like up for Teacher of the Year on his part of the state. But we are flying in. We're leaving Fargo at 5 a.m. We're going to Minneapolis and then we're flying to LA. And I think we're supposed to get into LA at 9 a.m. and we are staying in Burbank. So we're going to go to the hotel. Hopefully, we have time to go chill a little bit, then come back to the Rainbow. Show is from 5 to 7 p.m. Pacific time, the regular time. But we will, Stevie, what we're talking about getting there around 3:30 or something like that.
Yeah, because we're gonna have to, set up our stuff here. I got to bring a few extension cords. We want to get locked into their Wi-Fi. Find a spot where they're going to let us set up. Obviously, we've got to bring a couple of ring lights so we look acceptable to the rest of you that won't be there. And we can only hope that some of you decide that live in the area might make that
Yes.
plan, make that trek.
Yes.
Put it on your calendar. Tuesday, July 21st. If you don't have a job, be there. If you have a job, take half a day, leave after lunch. And come with a couple of people down to the Rainbow, get a pizza. We're working on some special guests. Hopefully we can get a couple friends to pop in, some other notables. And it's going to be fun. I look forward to it.
And I feel weird saying I have connections, but I start talking to people. Like I've said before, like the people who text me these days, I'm like, if you would have told me that was going to happen when I was 18. But I think there are some pretty legit guys who would be interested in coming on. Last week we had Bobby. Today we knew we were going to do this, but on weeks where, hey, maybe there isn't something big in the news, we will start having guests on.
Yep.
Obviously on the 21st, it'll be live at the Rainbow. So we might have some people there. Probably the week after that will be a recap of the week at the Rainbow. But
Right.
this is what we do every Tuesday. So it's only going to grow and get bigger and expand. And so we really need your help to get the word out. So if you like what we're doing, hey, tell a friend, like, wow, you should see Stevie Rachelle from Tough and this bald fuck from Fargo, North Dakota come on and talk about music. So here's a comment. And again, we try to do some comments that aren't super chats. That really appreciate all you guys. Let me get rid of this flyer. So what are you guys' thoughts on the new Spread Eagle CD? I just interviewed Rob DeLuca from Spread Eagle yesterday. So I've also had Ray West from Spread Eagle on. I am really impressed with the new CD. So wanted to get that comment in there. And Stevie, what do you think of a Michael Sweet, Stevie Rachelle collaboration? Would that ever work?
Probably not, because we're both singers.
You guys could duet like Summer Nights from Greece. Summer love and come on. That's a good idea.
And I could do the Olivia Newton-John part.
Right, that's right.
We're friends now, but I don't know that we're going to be recording anytime soon.
Right.
I'm not a studio guy. I'm not one of these guys that's making records and recording all the time. I've done my fair share. This shelf is full of, basically there's probably 50 or 60 CDs up here. Most of those I released on RLS Records. And I guess to all you guys out there, or girls, bands that are like, want to put out your own CD, if you can't get a record deal at some point, you can self-release. But the challenges that go with that. A guy like Michael Sweet, Tracy Guns, George Lynch, some of these guys are they're studio guys. They're literally, they wake up and they plug a guitar in. It's like when you look at John Five's Instagram. I think that guy has dinner with a guitar on. It's just like he is always playing.
Yeah.
Some guys are like that. I'm not that kind of guy, but I am an idea guy, and I've obviously been a content guy with Metal Sludge and putting all these products together. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. Tough stuff. I've done 4 solo records. I did sang on 8 different Shameless records with Alex. I've done the Tales from the Porn record with the guys from Brazil. 5 different Cheesehead records. And then there's other stuff that I put out, like Wild Side and Jim Gillette's record, and Veins of Jenna's put out a handful of records. All that it's consuming. But I don't think I'm going to. I'm getting off on a tangent here. So if you want to hit the gong, Anthony, go ahead.
The fuck is
I
that thing?
I I don't think I'm going to be doing a record with Michael Sweet anytime soon.
That's it. Stevie's one of the greatest talkers in history. His girlfriend said that, and that's why I'm doing this. His girlfriend Stephanie said, Anthony, if he goes on too long, hit the gong. So Stevie, I'm just kidding. There's the gong. And not to, but like sometimes somebody commented on a video today. They're like, how much content do you put out? Do you eat or sleep? And of course I do. But I'll
Right.
just give you a quick example. Yesterday, I interviewed Rob DeLuca. I also put out an interview with Eddie Robinson from Alley Cat Scratch.
Yep.
So Sunday night, I was editing the Eddie Robinson interview until like 11 or 12 because I also did some recording that night. Yesterday, I woke up about 10:30 and I started watching Rob DeLuca interviews. The interview was at 4 p.m. Central Time. So I watched like 3 interviews. I put together a bunch of notes. I did the interview from 4 to 6. After that, Patrick and I did a news story on Motley Crue that I got out at 7:30 p.m. So that was the second video I put out. Then me and Patrick and Ryan recorded a video on hair metal songs that we're listening to now. That got done around 9 or 10. And then I started editing that video. And long story short, by the time I uploaded that video, it was like 2:30 in the morning. So I mean, and I'm not complaining about that
And that's
because
one day.
one day.
One
You
day.
know, and that might be a little bit, not every day is like that, but sometimes, I mean, that happens kind of frequently, and then I got to get stuff
Right.
ready for this show. And I'm not complaining at all because I used to teach high school English. I used to be in the military. I love music. So it's not like, oh my gosh, I got to sit here and edit interviews with people whose music I like. But I'm just, like, that's why, when we say about super chats and things, like anybody who will contribute to keep you doing music and to keep both of us from digging ditches, we really appreciate because, this is what we do now. So anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, and with that, it is a lot of work. And there's links in all these videos. Whatever you guys can, and I'm saying this for Anthony's sake, support it. When you give a super chat, when you sign up for the channel, there's a PayPal. You could throw them a few bucks. It does mean something. Nobody's begging for money. Nobody's asking people to just pay for questions like, but it's no different than me. I'm trying to sling sludge and sell shirts and CDs and vinyl and it's time consuming. Even down to, like you said, there's not a big complaint, but when you make these flyers that we do every week and you put it through the AI and it tells you, like you put in some prompts and then the photo comes out and I look like I'm from The Exorcist and you look like Dwayne The Rock Johnson, and we're like, okay, it's maybe the prompts are a little bit off. Let's change it again. And I know that this last week I had like 2 articles I put up on Sludge. I screen captured the thumbnail. I shared it everywhere, and somebody goes, you spelled, it's not Orange Country, it's Orange County. And I was like, oh, fuck. So I had to go back
Yes.
and change it and then remove all the thumbnails. Then the next day I did it, and it was with the guy from Seduce. Legendary. I spelled legendary wrong. And I'm like, oh, fuck, I got to change everything again. And it's not just changing one letter, because when you screen capture a thumbnail and then you share it in 5 or 6 or 8 places on X, on Instagram, in Facebook, on this group, on that group, it just becomes, is that one of those ones? Like, yeah, I don't, who do I look like? I look like I'm from Anna Black or something there. Oh,
Yep.
hair metal Chalos.
Yeah, this shit happens all the time. Sometimes
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, I got to figure out, because yes, I use AI. It drives me nuts. I hate to
But it is a
99%.
but it is amazing when it works.
99% of people in the comments are so amazing, but there's always one who's like, quit using AI. I'm like, you want me to pay somebody? Or
Right.
you know what used to happen? I used to make thumbnails and it would take me 2 hours before AI because I would put in all these pictures, try to do all this cool shit, and then I'd be asking people like, how the fuck do I change this? Or I can do it with AI, and even AI takes a long. Like, look at this. So anyway, it's yeah, it can be a pain in the ass. So
Yeah, and I don't have
um,
it's like you said before, let's grow the channel, you know? I agree.
yep,
We can't grow hair, so we might as well grow the channel, right? So,
that's right. That's
here
right.
we are.
Kevin Minton says my favorite YouTube channel. You guys kick ass, dude. Thank you so much. That I really, really appreciate that. I want to
let's
kind of.
let's
Oh,
let's do
go
this
ahead.
while you go to the next thing.
Yep.
Everybody, just type where you're from, city, state, or
Yes.
country in the comments, and we could look at it later and see all the countries and all the cities. It's always cool to see that. I know a lot of you do it, but I'm asking right now. We're at 2 hour. We're at the 1 hour and 30 minute. I don't know how far are we along. Yeah, we're an hour and a
An
half in.
hour. Yep.
Just let it rip. Let us know where you're from. It's always interesting to see what countries are watching or what cities and states. And I'll let you go to your next point there, Anthony.
Yeah, and I'll try to. New York City. I see Brisbane, Australia. Stephanie Mandela's in Los Angeles. Holy shit, they're coming. Sioux Falls, Belgium. Sioux Falls, South Dakota. This is crazy. As Sydney, Australia. Jesus. But the next thing I did want to kind of talk about is okay. In 2016, I went to LA with a friend. And the only
Right?
rock and roll thing I got to do is we got to go. My friend was working, and I just got to come along and stay at the hotel room while my friend was working for a couple days. I'm like, fuck, I'll eat just to go to. So we went to eat at the Rainbow. We walked by the whiskey, the Viper Room, apparently the Roxy. I never got to go into anything except the Rainbow. So I'll open this up to the comments. Like, what are if you're a rock and roll guy, like, where do I need to go? I know that I want to go to Amoeba Records because I hear it's like the biggest record store in the world.
Oh,
But,
it's crazy.
what what clubs are still around even? I don't know I know like Gazari's and a lot of those places are closed, but are there still some clubs from back in the day besides the whiskey that are still there? So what do I need to see when I'm there from July 21st through the 26th?
Well, this trip that you're going to come and do, obviously you're going to be hanging out with me for some of those days. Unless you get annoying, then we'll just lose your number real quick or something. But dumb. That's what Stephanie says to me when I'm saying crazy things. She just looks at me and goes, dumb,
Dumb.
dumb,
Yeah. Yeah.
dumb, But the Rainbow, and Anthony obviously didn't realize this. The Roxy is right next door to it, but it might not have been
Yeah.
open. It's kind of a
Right.
nondescript building unless you were looking up and didn't see the big Roxy logo above the front door. But it's literally they share the same parking entrance, and then a block and a half down is the Whiskey. Another half, another short city block kitty corner is the Viper Room. Tower Records used to be right around the corner, but it's no longer there. What used to be Gazari's, that building was leveled and then rebuilt, and it was called the Key Club. Then it was bought by, I think Jay-Z bought it, and it's called One Oak. So it's still a club of sorts, but it's not your typical rock club. They have like premieres and important parties and VIP stuff for different types of entertainment. But dude, you're gonna have a lot to see. Of course, going to Amoeba, it is a massive record store. And they don't have just records. They have like old, cool, collectible posters and they have
Right.
all formats too. They have vinyl and cassettes and CDs and Blu-rays and VHS and DVDs, and they have just a lot of really unique, killer collectible shit there as well. What are you laughing at? I'm seeing it.
Kevin Minton says we have to make a poster of the live show. Stevie, we could bring posters and either
Well, I
hand
was
them
going
out
to say
or
we
something.
could print some of those out, and if you come down, we'll sign them and give them to you. You know, maybe we'll make some
That-
11 by 17 of that, and
yes.
some silver sharpies, and we'll sign them.
Yeah, and give them away. Fucking A. That'd be epic. Man, if you guys come see us, we'll figure something out to make something happen. I don't know.
It'll be fun.
When Hair Metal Chaos is big enough to tour Houston. Yeah. Yeah, we'll be big enough to tour eventually. We need a Hair Metal Chaos does America. When did Gazari's close? Do you remember?
Well, Gazari's Bill died in '91. I still have the memorial, whatever they want to call it, flyer. They made a flyer. It was a little single page folded. I'm gonna say, I mean, well, how about if, why don't I Google it? It had to close in like '92, maybe. It was still open for a while after he died, but not that. Not
I'm
that
sure
long.
his death and grunge probably shut that. I thought it was maybe 93, but I could be way off.
Gazari's closed when?
Greg Peterson says, "Hey, we should get some signed rubbers. The Guru and Rachelle prophylactics. If you like
Okay,
wearing
so
those."
Anthony's pretty spot on. It says Gazari's, the legendary rock and roll club on the Sunset Strip, officially closed its doors in 1993. Following the death of owner Bill Gazzari in 1991, the venue succumbed to declining glam metal trends and structural damage. The building was demolished in 1995 after the 1994 Northridge earthquake. The iconic site at 9039 Sunset Boulevard has hosted a succession of different clubs over the decades. Billboard Live was a new building that was constructed. Billboard Live opened in '96. Then it turned into the Key Club from '98 to 2013. Then One Oak took over the space later in 2013 and closed in 2022. Keys, the current nightlife venue operating in the footprint, KEYS. So I don't know if that has some significant meaning, but I will throw this down that Gazari's opened its doors on June 1st of 1965
Holy shit!
and closed in '93. But
Oh,
I think there was a different location. So according to Wikipedia, Gazari's Hollywood A Go-Go opened with performances by the Sinners, who became the house band of Vendels and Gazari's Dancers on June 1st, '65. I want to say I thought there was another location, but maybe I'm wrong. So
will there be women at the Rainbow? I don't know, but all the women are invited. And at the moment, I am technically single, but who knows? That could be changing anytime soon. So we'll see what happens. But obviously, everybody is invited. Women, men, whatever you happen to yes, you're all invited. What? No, I fucking forgot where I was at. I had a comment. Oh, well, speaking of women, somebody just said, Anthony, what happened to Mariah? I just put out a video with Mariah 2 days ago. A Guns
the
N'
band,
Roses.
the band Mariah.
No, Mariah, the girl who does stuff on the channel. And she hadn't been on for a while. She had graduated from
Oh,
college. She's 25. She's awesome. So people are always interested in hearing what happened with people who used to be on the channel. You know, sometimes things just change, but Mariah's still a part of the channel. She just doesn't do as much these days. But yeah, she's awesome and just did a video with her. So what other clubs from back in the day, Stevie, are still around that were
well,
back around then?
you know, the premier clubs that people know, the Whiskey's there still, the Roxy, the Vipe Room is still there, but it's going to be closing. I've heard that's been on the verge of closing for years, but it sounds like, from what I've heard, that it's getting close, where it's going to be a final day, which could be like within the next couple of weeks or maybe a month or something. The Cat House was never its own venue. It was it was at a facility, a
Right.
venue, 836 North Highland, which is nowhere near the Strip. It's further away, but that venue hosted different clubs, and they had Cat House on Tuesday, and then different nights of the week it was a gay club or a trans club or a, house techno club. Bordello, where Ricky Rackman had Bordellos on Thursday, that was held on Santa Monica Boulevard at a place called Peanuts, which is still there. And that's also on Santa Monica Boulevard in West Hollywood. So there's a lot of alternative nightlife stuff happening there.
Alternative nightlife.
You know, gay, trans, a lot of
Yep.
that is happening in West
Yep.
Hollywood. There
Sure.
are certain clubs that really are more that host that or have more of a scene for that. The Country Club in the Valley, which was always a cool club, that's a church for some years. FM Station was in North Hollywood. That's long been torn down, and I think it's some kind of a car parts store, an auto zone or something. So a lot of the venues that used to exist, Madame Wong's and
Yeah.
all those, Coconut Teaser is no longer the Coconut Teaser. Most of them are gone. And so the Whiskey,
Right.
the Roxy, and the Rainbow are the last three standing, and they're all relatively close, and they still host various events. The Whiskey is the premier place for rock shows.
Yep.
They're going to, like you just said, that week leading up to New Year's Eve, it's like every night is a couple of 80s bands. Bullet Boys, Faster Pussycat, LA Guns, Pretty Boy Floyd, Enough's Enough. There's just one right after another. The Rainbow is obviously, technically it's a restaurant. They don't usually
Yeah.
have live music there, but they do have the occasional thing upstairs, or they have the Rainbow parties a couple times a year, which are outside. The Roxy will host all kinds of stuff. I mean, Bad Baby, the rapper girl, she's played the Roxy, and they'll have different premieres and rock shows, but they'll also have hip hop and various other stuff. The Troubadour is still around. That's on Santa Monica Boulevard,
Okay.
right down Doheny, not very far, probably less than a mile, half mile from where the Roxy and the Rainbow are. But they are more alternative stuff. They do a lot of singer-songwriter shows, but they have hosted. I think GNR played there when they did their comeback, and I think Motley might have played a show there. Recently, they had the thing for Jennifer Perry, which Slash and
Yep.
Steven and Duff got up with Gilby, and Tammy sang. That
Tammy.
was at the Troubadour.
Yep.
Troubadour's been around forever. It's got some history. That was famously known that John Lennon was there drinking and got thrown out of the bar because he was being belligerent.
He was with Harry Nilsson.
Is that who he was with?
Yep. There's a documentary about that.
So
Um,
that club still exists.
But when I went to the Rainbow, I
Right.
mean, this is 2016. I was assuming it's gonna look like 2016. I walked into the Rainbow and I was like, "Holy fuck! It's still
looks like
1988 here."
Yeah, it's 1988
all,
inside.
there was pictures of obscure hair metal bands all over the place, and Guns N' Roses and Poison and platinum, or like gold records and stuff.
Right.
And then upstairs there was like the area where I can't remember what they call them, but like Alice Cooper and Keith Moon and all these guys used to
Yeah.
party. And it was like the Hollywood Vampires, I think, is what, or
Yeah.
something like that.
Right.
Anyway, I was like, holy fuck. Somebody just shoot me and bury me in the Rainbow, because it was like a hair metal fan's dream. So,
Yeah, and the people are there, good people. It's Mario is passed away, and his son was Mike. Mike sadly had a heart attack some years ago, and his son, Mike Jr. But they call him Big Mike because he's a big dude. He's like 6'5", big strong dude. He's now the guy, and he's very supportive of the bands. They also do other stuff. They do these cool rainbow parties, which are kind of, the Rainbow and the Roxy are run by the same family, even though they're like a block apart. They're affiliated. So they do this Rainbow parking lot party. There's one every spring, for Memorial Day on that Sunday, and there's one every fall, Labor Day on the Sunday, and they always have 5 or 6 bands. But those clubs they're synonymous with what this whole scene stood for, and I'm
Yeah.
honored that they're going to let us come in there and host. I obviously do advertisements for them and push all their shows, and Tough's going to be playing there on Thursday, July 23rd, with Foxy Rocks, which is a band that was around in the heyday as well. In the early '90s, they were around with the Big Bang Babies type of bands and Alley Cat Scratch. They do a whole show where there's a lot of glam and colors and backdrops and lights, and they're on the show. American Jet Set's on the show. There's other bands on the show. So it's going to be a busy week for us. Obviously, you're coming into town Tuesday, as are a bunch of my friends and people from different parts. I've seen people online saying, "Oh, we're flying in from Denver for that week. We're flying in from Canada. We're flying out from the East Coast." So Tuesday will be our Guru show live at the Rainbow. Wednesday, we're going to do our rehearsal in Burbank, which you and Patrick, or who are you coming with? Jeremy?
Jeremy.
Not Patrick. Yeah, so you and Jeremy can come to the rehearsal. Thursday night, we're going to play the Whiskey. Friday, we go down to Orange County, and we're going to play with Slaughter and Quiet Riot. Saturday, we were supposed to go to Phoenix, but that show fell through. So we're just going to do the 2. And by Saturday, I might be fed up with you, so you and Jeremy can go to Venice Beach and shop on Melrose and Hollywood Boulevard.
We are getting in Tuesday. We are actually leaving on Monday. So we'll go to the Tough show Friday. We'll have Saturday and Sunday to kind of do whatever shit we want to do.
Right.
So if you're in the area, let us know. Maybe we can meet up and go to Amoeba together or something. So message us. Here's a super chat from Crypticoli, who has always, every week, super chats. Thank you. 2 things, Hair Metal Guru. I super chatted about Vixen. You should listen to their first 2 albums and then invite Janet Gardner on. I did listen to some Vixen last week, and I will listen to some more Vixen. I promise. And I would love to have Janet Gardner on, or even one of the newer Vixen girls. Britt Lightning, Julia Lage, if I pronounce that right. Obviously, it'd be cool to have one of the originals. Janet Gardner would be awesome. So I'd love to see that. Do you pick Lita Ford over Vixen? I probably would pick Lita Ford. She was more metal. Vixen was pretty poppy, but I do like both. And Neil Diamond or King Diamond? I hate to say it, but I'm taking Neil Diamond there.
Neil Diamond all day long. I saw him in concert. I think it was at the Pond of Anaheim, which is going to be really close to where we're playing at the Grove. He was amazing. You know,
I love a ton of Neil Diamond
Ford
songs.
There's like 2 or 3 Lita Ford songs that are awesome. The went to a party last Saturday night. I didn't get boned. I got in a fight. It ain't no big thing. Great song. Really great.
Yeah.
The duet she did with Ozzy, also a great song.
Yes.
And there's a couple others, but Vixen obviously had a couple of cool songs. All those girls in Vixen are sweethearts. Roxy's cool. She's the OG. Their new singer is awesome. Lorraine was awesome when she was in. And Stephanie's good friends with the bass player, which is Richie Kotzen's wife. She's from Brazil. And then
I saw them with Lorraine, and she was really good. And then like a few months later, it was announced that she was out and somebody was coming in. But so I saw that lineup.
The guitarist is Britt Lightning.
Yep.
Who's dating Tommy London from Sirius. So we've hung out with them a couple times. As a matter of fact, I think me and Stephanie went to dinner one night with, maybe it was Jeff Scott Soto or somebody, and we ran into Britt and Tommy. They happened to be in the same restaurant. We were out in like Agora Hills or something. Good people, Can Stevie speak about his memories and perhaps any interactions he had with Tim Kelly of Slaughter? Tim Kelly was one of the nicest human beings ever. As a matter of fact, I got a couple pictures of me and Tim. Just a great guy. It's such a horrible tragedy how he's not here, But
I think he died in 99. I could be wrong, but I think it was around 99.
There's a couple photos of me with like me, Tommy Thayer, Tim Kelly, Oh, here I just found it. Look at how that popped up.
February 5th of 1998 is when Tim Kelly died. Oh,
There's
there
me
you
and
go.
Tim, and there's a couple other photos of us, and it's like Tommy Thayer, Brent Woods, either Johnny or Joey Gioli from Hardline.
Yep.
I think Tim Kelly's in it. Maybe Bloss, me, and it was I think it was at Fan Forum. So those like '94. All the Slaughter guys are great. Mark's a sweetheart.
Yeah.
I don't have too much interaction with Dana, but I actually just got some emails that were copied on for advancing the show with Slaughter, Quiet Riot, and Tough. But Mark's an awesome guy. I first met Mark and Dana and Bobby Rock when they were in the Vinnie Vincent invasion, because
Yep.
we had done some photos for Rock Scene magazine, and a lot of times what would happen is photographers would book a day where they'd have multiple bands. So they'd set up the studio for a day, and they'd be like, okay, we're going to shoot Tough from 12 to 3. And then when we were done at like 2:30, quarter to 3, then Vinnie Vincent showed up. Or at the day, I think Vinnie Vincent went first. So they shot Vinnie Vincent, and by the time we showed up, they were finished. I think Vinnie was already gone, but Mark and Dana and Bobby were there, so we kind of met him then.
Right.
And then we ended up playing a show with Vinnie Vincent Invasion as well. And that happened another time. We were going to shoot with William Hames, and Skid Row had just finished, and then we got there, and our record was already done, so I actually played Sebastian, All New Generation, and I specifically played him the part where, we do the Cooper Kiss the Oz and Motley, Poison, Axl, John Bon Jovi, Skid Row is the youth gone wild. Of course, he loved
Right.
it.
Yeah.
That's when we were buddies.
Yeah.
But Tim Kelly's was a sweetheart, an absolute sweetheart. Before he was in Slaughter, he was in a band called New Haven, which was a local band. Robbie Crane was actually really good friends with them as well. I think he might have played in New Haven for a while. But Tim Kelly was he really was just a sweetheart of a guy. Rest in peace to Tim Kelly.
Awesome. Thanks, Patrick, for the super chat. Mr. Nitro Mike became a YouTube member. Hey, the ways you can help out, you become a member, you get some early access to videos. Really, when you become a member, you just like are saying, hey, man, I just want to help you out. Thank you. I also, I have a PayPal. There's nothing more uncomfortable in the world for me than asking for money. I don't like doing that. But for those of you who do want to help, thank you so much. Here's another super chat. The Mash Bill says, don't take a black light into the green rooms at the Whiskey, Anthony. It will scare any man. But to see the autographs on the wall is pretty badass. I think he's saying there's some pretty gross stuff on the walls at the Whiskey, apparently. And here is another one. Keith Ryan Cartwright is back. Guru, we'll have a chance to meet damn near the whole Reseda crew from the Tough Mansion on Strathern. We will be at the Rainbow and the Whiskey Show on Thursday. Awesome. And then I know your buddy Schneids. Is it Mike Schneider? Schneids.
Yeah. So Schneid's from Exciter. Mike Schneid's from Exciter. It was the bass player in Exciter. He's the one who formed the band. Schneids is coming out from Milwaukee as well, because Schneids used to be on the Sunset Strip. He was in a couple bands. One of them was called Stagger Lee, and another one was called I can't remember now. I know one. He's shared some of the demos, and I think you can buy. Schneids has put out a couple of products from two bands from the Sunset Strip on CD, and I think there's really limited vinyl. He also has a couple of releases that he did himself, Schneid's releases, which were, I'm pretty sure, don't shoot me if I get this wrong, but I think produced by Alex Kane of Life, Sex, and Death and Enough's Enough.
Oh.
I think he played some of the guitar on it as well. And then he had Dan Goober Lautenschlager, our original Exciter drummer, plays the drums. I think Dougie Manross, who plays with us and played with Tim Ripper Owens, he did some leads. And so Schneids is actually getting ready to release a new Schneids.
I saw that.
Couple of tracks, but he's put out a few others. So if you want to find him online, look for Mike Schneider, and he's got a couple cool products. He's got a big cartel store. You can buy some stuff. He also has some Exciter shirts that we still have in stock. And if you want to buy an Exciter shirt, support the Schneids. Of course, support the Guru. Support the Guru. Support Charlie's Dog Bone Habit. And of course, support me. I just ordered, I just got a shipment in of all new shirts. There's 7 sizes of this. Of course, there's a ton of other stuff, including the whole CD and vinyl catalog on RLS. It's all can be found on the Metal Sludge website. Just look for the banners that say store and click them and go nuts.
Hell yes. Crypticoli. 90, and we're getting ready to wrap it up because we are hitting the 2 hour mark, but we'll finish
Yep.
these comments and then we'll finish up. You guys picked Neil Diamond over King Diamond? Never
100%.
super chatting. Totally. Never
100%.
super chatting again. LOL, just kidding. Sort of. Not cool though, you guys. And Lita and Vixen both rocked. Lita had more than 3 good songs, Stevie. I agree. She did have a bunch of good songs. But Neil Diamond, fucking, I don't know if I can name 10 songs, but I bet I can name 7 fucking top-notch Neil Diamond songs
and
right
here's
now.
the thing: Neil Diamond is this is a guy that's from the world of Elvis. You know, this dude is like, I mean, when did Neil Diamond first come on the scene? Let me quick grab that. I'm going to pull it up just for a second.
Like 1968, I bet.
Yeah, I'm going to say before that, or I'm wrong.
I don't know. I'm pretty fucking good at my musical knowledge. Just saying.
Neil Diamond debut record. I'm going to say, what do you say, 68? I'm going to say earlier than that. I'm going to say 62.
Well, what the fuck do you know? Just kidding.
What did you say?
68.
66.
I was closer. Take that, fucker. Just kidding.
But you went over.
Just kidding.
I was closer without going over.
You were 4 years off. I was 2 years off.
Yeah, but they say closest without going over. This sounds like an argument I'd have with Stephanie, and she always wins.
Yes. I just got a text from Stephanie. Okay, I got you, Stephanie. I saw that. All right, we finish up with the super chats. Hopefully, I didn't miss anybody. July 21st, I will be flying into. Let me get rid of this. I will be flying into LAX, getting in about 9 a.m., meeting Stevie at the Rainbow around 3. Come whenever. Come to the Rainbow, eat, sit and chat. Shit, I might even be nervous. Fucking, I don't know. I've never been live at the Rainbow. So come in and talk to us beforehand. The show will be from 5 to 7. Tough. That's Tuesday the 21st. Tough at the Whiskey A Go-Go, Thursday the 23rd. Foxy Rocks, American Jet Set opening. Can't wait to meet all those guys. I'm going to shout out my buddy Marco, who is a friend of mine on X. He lives overseas, but he does some work in America. I know he is flying in and is going to be at that show's Schneids. All these people telling me they're coming. And then Friday the 24th, what is it called? The Grove?
It's called the Grove of Anaheim.
Okay. The Grove of Anaheim, Tough opening up for Slaughter and Quiet Riot. And obviously I'll be around the whole week. I'm flying out Monday after those shows. Come to those shows. Come to the Rainbow. Tell me where you're going to be. Hopefully we can meet up. Stevie, today we had our big announcement. Thank you for everything you did to get that hooked up.
Thank you, Anthony. And what he just said, I echo all of it. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun. You know, thank you for everybody that supported us so far, following this channel. We've had some hiccups, had some audio issues. I had an audio issue at 4:30 again today, and I was trying to figure things out. I had to reboot my computer. I'm not a techie guy.
No.
But either way, we got it figured out, and I'm appreciative. It's always fun, to play shows, and I don't know. I came up with this idea a couple of months ago, and I'd done this with Jason Green a couple times. I went on his podcast. I went on Chris Aiken and Classic Metal Show, and at some point I'd done interviews with Anthony, but I said, let's do our live. We're going to do this every Tuesday. We got some other things we're working on. We're going to get some more guests. And, hey, Tell a friend. Anybody on the West Coast in SoCal, try to come out that week. It's going to be awesome. The rainbow thing is going to be off the hook. We can't wait. Call, reserve a table. I'm sure it's going to get full at some point. Doesn't hold a ton of people, but if we got 30 or 40 or 50 there, it'd be awesome. So hopefully you
Yes.
guys can come down.
Hey, down in the description, you'll find the link to Metal Sludge. You'll find the link to the Metal Sludge store. Go
Awesome.
grab something, grab some music, grab some merchandise. You'll find the link to my Spotify. I am on Spotify, and you'll find my PayPal. And obviously, you're on the channel right now, so go check out any of the videos that we did this week. We will see you guys next week. Thank you everyone for the super chats, for the questions, and for just supporting everything that we do here. Until next week's show, my name is Anthony. They call me the Guru. You take care of yourselves.
Middle chaos.